Hey guys, hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Today, since it is the beginning of a new month, I figured I would do a reading wrap up from last month, November, and a TBR for this month, which is also kind of just an end of year TBR since it's obviously the last month of the year. So yeah, I filmed a booktube newbie tag video. I just haven't had the chance to edit it and post it quite yet, and I will probably work on doing this one first just because it's a little more time sensitive, I guess, so expect that video coming soon. So let's get into my November reading wrap up. Some of these I did read on my Kindle or checked out from the library, which probably means I read them on my Kindle. So I don't have physical copies, but I have physical copies of a few of them, and I'll be showing you those as we go and giving you my ratings. Just a heads up, I suck at summarizing books. I'm so bad at it. I do not have a concise thought process when it comes to that. So if you want to see a summary of them, go look them up on Goodreads. That'll also give you a good idea of what other people have thought of the book. So, in no particular order, here are the books I read this month. First off, we have Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I checked this one out of the library, so I don't have a physical copy for you. But I gave this one 4 stars. I've liked every single one of Ali Hazelwood's books that I've read so far. Love Theoretically, Love on the Brain, and The Love Hypothesis have all been really cute books for me. I love a woman in STEM, and they're all centered around women in STEM. And I don't care that Love Theoretically was Raylo fanfic to begin with. I think it's kind of fun, actually, that fanfic got published. So, yeah, 4 stars for that one from me. Next up, we have The Night Shift by Annie Crown. I gave this one 3 stars. It was a really cute book. It was exactly what I needed at the time that I read it. To be honest, I just don't really remember what happened or any of the characters. And they make out in the first 15 pages. And that's just not usually for me. I kept reading because the writing was good enough, but to make up for the plot and characters not being where I would like them to be, it was a good book, just not for me. So, it was really cute though, and I would recommend it to a friend. The next books on the list that I read this month is the Hex Hall trilogy, which is, I have them. You can see them. These are by Rachel Hawkins. They are a series that I read a lot as a teenager. My sister and I were big fans of them. Clearly, we got the first one in paperback, this one, and then bought the other 2 as they came out because we really liked them. I gave Hex Hall, the first book, 4 stars. Demon Glass, which is the second book, I gave 3 stars, and Spellbound, I gave 3 stars. There is a 4th companion book about a related character who I don't actually know. I've never read it. I had no interest in reading it this time. I didn't even finish Spellbound this time because I got a third of the way into it, and then I remembered how it ended. And I don't like how this series ends, so I just stopped reading it and pretended it ended the way I wanted it to. It's a YA fantasy trilogy though, and it's older, and it takes place at a magic school. The main character's name is Sophie Mercer, and she gets sent to Hex Hall, which is an academy for people who are not human, so witches, wizards, fairies, vampires even. Her roommate is a vampire, and it's just about her journey. She has to fight evil and whatever. This is what I mean by my book summaries aren't great. I've read this how many times in my life and I can't even give you a proper summary. But yeah, so 4 stars for the first one, 3 stars for the other 2. Would recommend if you like YA fantasy. It's a little light on the fantasy. It's real world, but these people also exist in it, if that makes sense. It's not like a new fantasy world the way like Shadow and Bone is its own universe. So, different kind of fantasy. All right, the next one on my list is Collide by Bal Cabra. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. This I gave 3 stars. It was kind of like Night Shift. It was really cute and fun and fluffy, and I don't remember what happened, so I know it was a hockey romance. And that's about it. And I read that one like maybe 2 weeks ago, so 3 stars, good book, good writing. Not my favorite, didn't stick with me. Nothing to write home about. So the next 3 books on the list are part of the Dark Verse universe by Rue Nix. I read the first 3, so The Predator, The Reaper, and The Emperor, right? Yep. I started The Finisher, and something about the smut just like wasn't a big fan at the time, so I'll probably go back and revisit it at some point because they're good books, but I think I just burned myself out on dark, smutty romance, and I'm so sorry if you can hear my cat crying outside my door. I gave all 3 of those 4 stars. Like I said, they were good books. I just like read them all too fast, no breaks, and I don't want to read that right now. I want to read something a little bit different, cleanse my palate. My cat is like yowling outside my door. I am so sorry if you can hear it. The next 2 books that I read in November were The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King. Come on, focus. These are the first 2 books in a trilogy by Holly Black. It's called the Folk of the Air trilogy. I have the 3rd one as well. It's in my TBR for December. I suck at finishing series, I think, so I just didn't read it even though I want to know what happens, which is why it's on my TBR for this month. But I gave both The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King 4 stars, and I have high expectations for The Queen of Nothing as well. The last book on the list is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Hopefully that's not too overexposed for you to see it. I gave this book 5 stars. It is super dark and heavy content. Definitely read trigger warnings if you are looking to read it. This was a recommendation from my friend Shelly, who also gave it 5 stars. Definitely look into trigger warnings and make sure you're in the right mental state if you decide to pick this book up. But it was so well written and I didn't want to put it down. I needed to know what happened to Vanessa. So that is it for like published novels that I read this month. However, I am a fan fiction girl, so I wanted to also shout out the surprisingly only fan fiction I can remember reading this month, which is Various Storms and Saints by Viridian at Night on Archive of Our Own. I will put a link in the description. It is a Harry Potter, Draco and Hermione fan fiction. It was really good. I liked it. I read it really fast. I think would recommend looking into it if you are a Harry Potter fan and you want to read some fan fiction. All right, so now it's time to get into my December TBR. There are 8 books on this list. I don't know that I'll actually read all of them. It's plausible, like it's very, very possible that I will. It just depends on what else I'm doing and how the holidays go. So I talked about this one in my wrap up a little bit, so I figured I'd go first with this one. It is The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. It is the last book in the Folk of the Air trilogy, and like I said before, I just didn't read it. I don't know why, I just didn't read it. So I am planning on reading that hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Currently just not really in a fantasy mood, so probably won't read it right away, but we'll see. So 3 of the books on my list I got from the Goodreads Choice Awards. They were all nominees, or one of the books in their series is a nominee. So first off, we have The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Brommer. Brammer? I don't know. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember what this book is about. I bought it months ago, and I just never got around to reading it. But anyway, that is the first book from the Goodreads Choice Awards that I am planning on reading this month. The second one is The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis. This was another nominee for historical fiction. The Collected Regrets of Clover was, I believe, a nominee for contemporary fiction, I think. I don't really remember. I just was going through them and I was like, oh, I already have that on my shelf. I should read it. The last book inspired by the Goodreads Choice Awards is American Royals by Catherine McGee. I'm holding that so weird. And this one, the fifth book in the series, is up for a Goodreads Choice Award, but I've had this for a while and I still haven't read it. It's the first one in the series, so figured if the fifth one is supposed to be that good, probably the entire series is that good and I should just actually start reading it. One of my friends has read it and she did like it, so I'm confident that I'll like it. I just kept forgetting I had it. Next on my list is A Kilt for Christmas by Trisha O'Malley. This is the only holiday book that I have on my list, which last year I read like 5 or 6 holiday smutty romances, and I loved them. I'm just like not in the mood for that this year. So I only have one on the list, and it takes place in Scotland, I think, or one of them is Scottish, obviously, because it's called A Kilt for Christmas. That's a very Scottish thing. And I am a sucker for any book set in Scotland. So I figured that was a good one for me to read. The next book on my list, I just got in from the library literally today on my Kindle. I was super excited to see it come in. And that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I am so excited to read it. I have had it on hold at my library for probably 2 months. So I've been waiting a long time to read this one. It is going to be my next read, I think. The next book on my list is The Tuesday Club Murders by Agatha Christie. This is like I don't know as if it was a special edition, but it's like a collection of Agatha Christie books. My dad has it, and I am borrowing it, and I'm going to just slowly start working my way through Agatha Christie books. I think I read Murder on the Orient Express when I was in like middle school. It might have been a different Agatha Christie book, but I distinctly remember reading an Agatha Christie book in like an elective I took in 8th grade. And then I had to write the first 2 chapters of a story in the same genre as the book I read, which is why I remember that I read a mystery. I remember that it was Agatha Christie because I knew the author's name. Anyway, the very last book on my TBR is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This is another book recommended to me by my friend Shelley. It is a thriller. It's also The Secret History by Donna Tartt is like one of the core dark academia books that I keep seeing in everybody's dark academia videos. And In My Dreams I Hold a Knife has been in a couple of those as well. I think it takes place at a school. Yeah, it takes place at a school, and then they go to, I think, a 10-year reunion, whether it's official or not. And it's told in dual timelines with a dark campus setting and a darker look at friendship, love, obsession, and ambition. I'm super excited to read it. When my friend Shelley read it, it was like, I think, one of her top books of all time. I don't know if she still feels that way because I think she read it like a year ago. I've had it on my shelf for like a year. So I figured I'd throw a thriller in there for some spice, since these are all pretty tame books. So that is my December TBR. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below what's on your December TBR, And if you're doing anything fun for the holidays, based off of what I read in November and what I'm planning to read in December, if you can think of any books that you think I'd like, leave them in the comments below. I am always looking to add more things to my want to read shelf on Goodreads because it totally doesn't have enough on it already. All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.